What is up, friends? Harley and Bree here. It is a beautiful day outside. Harley and I are currently in Truckee, California, and we're about to take you paddleboarding down the Truckee River. So let's do a little dance to celebrate because we are so excited. Jumping right into it, we're going to put Harley's life jacket on, and then we're going to follow that with his cute little sunnies and his sun hat because the sun was so bright today, and he needs to be nice and protected. And then boom, bada bing, swimsuit is on, and we are ready to go. Of course, before we can go floating down the river, we need to inflate our paddle boards, and thankfully we found this awesome electric air pump off of Amazon. Last summer we went through 3 different electric air pumps trying to find one that would blow up our paddle boards to the required 15 psi. And let me tell you, it was a struggle. So finding this air pump this summer has been an absolute game changer because it's just made it so easy. It inflates the paddle boards within like 10 minutes. It's so awesome. Of course, as soon as the paddle boards are done inflating, we hop right into the river for the main event because we just can't wait. This day was absolutely gorgeous. The sun was shining, the river was perfect, the vibes were high. I had placed my phone in this waterproof phone case that I own, but I didn't notice that there were water stains on the front, so some of the footage is a little blurry, but you know, it's fine. We're just gonna ignore that, okay? Look at Harley being the absolute stinking cutest with his life jacket, his sunnies, his little sun hat. He's just so freaking adorable. I would say his favorite spot on the paddleboard is in my lap. I typically sit crisscross applesauce the entire journey just so that he can be exactly where he wants to be, but if he's not in my lap, he's up front, owning it, checking out the views, or he's in the back. He kind of does his own thing. He wants to explore the way he wants to explore sometimes. And then of course here I had to dunk him to keep him cool, but he always does that thing like right before he hits the water, he like preps himself like he's ready. Like if I were to let go, he'd be like a swimming machine, you know? But he's just so cute. I just can't stand all this cuteness. Floating down the river, we went underneath a couple of bridges, and I just thought that was super neat. So of course I had to pull up my camera to prove so, but it did remind me as a kid whenever we'd go on road trips and drive through any tunnels, we had to hold our breaths because I really don't know why, actually. I think it's just a superstition. So each time we went under a bridge, I would hold my breath just cuz. This was our first time actually using our paddle boards to float down the Truckee River. We floated down the river multiple times, but we were using our tubes instead. But we've seen people float the river using paddle boards, kayaks, tubes, you name it. So we were like, if they can do it, then so can we. And honestly, I loved it because with the tubes, you definitely get wet. With the paddle boards, you can choose if you want to get wet or not. And I kind of like that aspect of it. We went swimming, but it was our choice. You didn't have to fully submerge your body in the cold Truckee River water. Also with the paddle boards, we can bring Harley, whereas with the tubes, we don't bring Harley only because there's just like one spot, so he can't really walk around and explore. But with the paddle boards, he can really go wherever he wants. The front, the back, my lap. And he loves it. He loves the paddle boards. The only thing with the paddle boards is that you have to just kind of maneuver it, but it makes it really easy because we have our paddle, whereas with the tube, you're kind of just using your hands. The part of the river that we paddleboarded down was actually pretty smooth. There was only a couple of areas where there were rocks sticking out or a couple of rapids, but then again, we were on our paddleboard, so it was really easy to just move around them really quick, and then we were on our way smooth sailing. I'm gonna let you enjoy the views and vibe to the music as I disappear for just a sec because I really don't know what else to chat with you guys about, but I'll be back. We came to a spot where the river was super still, so it allowed me to just lay down on my paddleboard, and then of course Harley had to hop right up and relax with me. It was really nice to stretch my legs since I had been in the crisscross applesauce position for some time. It took us about 3 hours to complete our little river rafting adventure. It was literally the perfect day. And then we stopped right before the rapids kind of started to get intense. There was a sign that said rapids, life jackets required. And that's when we were like, yep, time to get out. I love our inflatable paddleboards so much. We've had them for at least 6 summers now, and they're super durable. We've never had any issues with them. And the best part is that they're lightweight and just easy to take with you literally anywhere. I always just make sure to get any dirt or debris off of them before I carry them back up to the truck, where I put them away in their bags, just to make sure that nothing like hurts or damages them. When you river raft, you have to bring 2 vehicles up, one to park at the end of the line and one to park at the beginning, so that way when you get to the end of the river, you have a vehicle to obviously pack your things into and then drive to your starting point. We conveniently parked our vehicle right where there was a path so that we could just bring our paddleboards right out of the river, walk up this path that you see right here, and then our truck was right there. The parking lot that we leave our truck at is right next to the River Ranch restaurant. This is also where they have the buses to transport people that have rented out a tube for a day. So let's say you're not from Truckee, but you still want to raft down the Truckee River. There are companies that let you rent out these rafts, and then they have transportation for you to and from where your truck is at. We ended up talking with a couple of people who were renting one of the rafts from one of these companies, and they said that it's about $250 for a day, which is expensive, but I mean, if that's what you feel like doing, I say do it. And then once all of our paddle boards are loaded back into the truck and everyone's in the car and we've had a drink of water, we drive on back to where our first car is parked. We park our first car at the parking lot where the Truckee Transit Center is. There's a lot of parking. However, if you are planning on river rafting during the peak seasons of summer, you either have to get here super early or later in the afternoon if you want to find a spot, just because Tahoe is pretty busy in the summer. After our river rafting adventure, we were hungry, but thankfully we packed a lunch, so we headed on over to our favorite beach, Commons Beach. It's just so nice because you can see that they have that grassy area, and it's just a beautiful, perfect view, and it's usually pretty calm later in the afternoon because I don't think many people know about it. We had a smorgasbord of cheese, crackers, baked beans, we had watermelon, ginger ale. It was perfect, and of course we had to pay the cheese tax. We had an absolutely perfect summer day paddleboarding down the river, and I'm so glad I could bring you guys along. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy summer, guys!